Alright Carnivore fans, we are back once again for another news video. It's been a little bit of a time since we did one of these. Walter, what's been catching your eye in the news this week?
Lotus is building another Evora, and they're calling it the GT430.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's supposed to go 0 to 60, 3.7 seconds,
Wow.
430 horsepower, 190 top speed, and weighs about 2,900 pounds.
Wow, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, take a look at some of these pictures, Miles. I think the front air ducts and the rear carbon wing makes this car much more serious looking than the standard Evora, which is also supposed to be an amazing car in itself, too. And take a look at the back end. I think that's a really good looking butt.
Yeah, I like a lot what they've done with the styling of this car. They've given it a little bit more of an edge, which is really nice.
Yeah. I like Colin Chapman's quote, which is, "Adding power makes you faster on the straights, subtracting weight makes you faster everywhere."
That's a good one.
Miles, you might want to try that.
Well, what are you saying?
So the Evora is a four-seater, which means that you could seat two adults in the front and then two legless people in the back.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the Evora GT430 though is only going to be a two-seater, so your legless friends will have to walk.
Yeah, too bad. They'll have to take the bus.
So they are mysteriously not indicating the price. A regular Evora goes for about $90,000. I'm kind of estimating that I think it'll probably come in at $130,000.
Right.
They are planning, take a guess how many, Miles? Worldwide.
So based on the name, I guess maybe 430?
That's a good guess, but they're only going to make 60.
Wow, only 60. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Good luck trying to get one of those.
Yeah, well I wasn't going to get one anyway, so it's not really a problem for me, but it's good to know.
So Miles, what do you have?
So Walter, on the subject of small production British sports cars, I'm really excited this week to get some more news about TVR, the new car they're releasing. So if you're not familiar with TVR, they're a British company that's been hand-building sports cars since 1947, and over the last couple of decades they've been undergoing some financial troubles. They've changed hands a number of times. But they have some new owners now, and earlier this year they announced they're going to be building a brand new coupe, which is really exciting news. So this week we got our first glimpse of the front of the car. Not a lot of detail in this picture, Walter, but what do you think?
Boy, that's not much detail at all. I'm not sure what to think of it because it's not really telling me much.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping their hand close to their chest on this one. The car is going to be fully revealed at the 2017 Goodwood Revival later on this year in September, so we'll get a full look at it then. But what we do know is it's going to be a 480 horsepower, Cosworth-tuned 5-litre Mustang V8, coupled with a 6-speed manual transmission, rear-wheel drive, everything you would expect from a sports car and a TVR. It's going to weigh about 2,600 pounds, going to come with a carbon fiber chassis. Very exciting, some really interesting stats there, and TVR claim they have 400 orders for the car already. Probably going to cost about $115,000, so it's not cheap. But the good news is, Walter, that TVR have said they already have 3 other cars on the drawing board, so hopefully this could be the permanent return of this company.
Miles, any information about them possibly sending cars to the US?
Not yet. I don't think they used to sell cars directly here. I think most of them were grey imports, but we can hope, and that's what we can do.
Yep.
What do you got?
So Audi is lobbying hard to Congress to pass laws concerning autonomous vehicles. Some of the interesting aspects of laws are, where can they operate autonomously? Under what circumstances should they follow the law, or maybe not follow the law in terms of, let's say there's an emergency and they need to speed up over the speed limit, or let's say traffic along the freeway is moving much faster than the speed limit. Should the car, keep up with the traffic? Right. And then also, liability. What if somebody gets into an accident? Whose fault is it if it's the autonomous car?
Yeah, a lot of things to consider there. I mean, a lot of different things could happen.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Audi is talking about coming out with autonomous vehicles by 2020 or 2021, so it's not that far away.
Yeah, it's pretty soon. It's only a few years.
Yep. Interesting.
Well, I look forward to keeping up on that one. So Walter, another thing that's been catching my eye in the news this week is some news about deliveries of the Ford GT. So unfortunately, some people are going to have to wait a little bit longer for their cars to get delivered. Ford announced this week they're delaying delivery on the Ford GT while they sort out some supply issues and some testing issues. No specific issues with the car itself or the build of the car, just figuring out some of the supply chain issues, I guess. They've already delivered about 50 cars to owners. They started production earlier this year at their Ontario plant. They're hoping to build 1 car a day until they finish production in 2020, and they're going to build almost 1,000 cars total when that production comes to an end. But Walter, get this, 7,000 people applied to get a Ford GT, and they had to actually send in a video application in order to even be considered. It's like online dating or something. So unfortunately for those people, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Miles, do you know what an FUV is?
I don't. I think someone said that to me once and I just thought it was an insult.
It probably was,
Okay.
but Ferrari is talking about building an SUV and they're calling their SUV an FUV, Ferrari Utility Vehicle. Yeah, pretty corny to me.
Yeah.
It's codenamed F16X, and you know, car companies like Porsche, Bentley, Maserati have built an SUV, and you know, Porsche has been building SUVs for so long that you know there are plenty of people who are surprised that Porsche actually built only regular cars before.
Yeah. There's kids out there that probably their whole life have only known Porsche as a company that makes SUVs.
Yeah, so I really looked hard on the internet for, you know, anything that might show what this FUV looks like. And Miles, I think I found one. What do you think of this vehicle?
Well, I like the F40 styling. That's kind of retro. But I don't know, Walter. Is this really a picture of the FUV?
Well, it could be, I don't know. So I guess they want to join Aston Martin with the DBX and Lamborghini with the Urus. And, you know, if you remember, Miles, the Lamborghini LM002,
Yeah,
how awesome that looked like.
Back in the day, awesome.
Yeah, and you know, if Italy and Germany ever got into a war and they brought their SUVs, you know, Lamborghini brought the LM002 and Mercedes brought the G550. I think Germany would just surrender immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. They wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah. So how about you, Miles?
Well, so the last thing, speaking of German cars, the last thing caught my eye this week is the new Mercedes X-Class. So we've heard of the S-Class, the E-Class, this is the X-Class, and this is actually a first for Mercedes. It's a Mercedes pickup truck. But if you're thinking, wow, Mercedes are really going to build a pickup truck? Well, no, they're not really. This is actually a Nissan that they've rebadged for some reason or another. I think the exterior styling, I kind of personally like it. I like the front look of it. I think the lights and the grille are interesting. The back just looks like a pretty generic Nissan pickup truck. What do you think of that, Walter?
I don't think it's a very good looking vehicle.
Not for you? Okay, fair enough. The interior, though, is kind of pure Mercedes. They've definitely ripped out all the cheaper components that you get on a Nissan pickup truck and put in some nice plusher materials and things like that. So it's going to come with a couple of different drivetrain options ranging from 163 horsepower diesel to a 250 horsepower diesel V6. Mercedes have said not to expect an AMG variant on this, so in case you're wondering, that's not going to happen. But the bad news is, it's not coming to the US. I hate it when we have these cars and we're not going to get an opportunity to see them here. They're only selling it to Europe, South Africa, Australia, Argentina and Brazil. And it's going to go on sale later this year in Europe, starting at around $42,000.
Okay, so that takes care of this segment of In the News with Carnivore.
Absolutely, and don't forget to subscribe to see plenty more videos and follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well to keep up on our latest news.
Take care, everyone.
See you next time. Hey Carnivore fans, and it's time for a brand new news video. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so Walter, what's been catching your eye in the news recently?
Sorry, can you do that again?